Hi, Cutie Pies. It's Lanikia, and I am coming to you with Four Weddings and a Funeral, Season 1, Episode 5, and it's called Love Chalet. And it's because that's the reality show that Zara is actually on this week. Because remember, last week we found out that she's doing a love reality show, I guess kind of like The Bachelor, but it would be their version of it. So, anyways, we see that. So it starts off with Maya in bed with Duffy, and she's waking up. To me, it feels like she was acting like she didn't realize that she had slept with him, or she couldn't. She was looking on the covers, like, and I'm like, why are you doing this? Like you're drunk and like you didn't understand what was going on because you were completely sober when Duffy came over. So then Duffy wakes up and he reaches for his glasses and he's like, oh my gosh, it's Maya. But they hold off talking because they want to take time and just discuss what happened between them later on. So she agrees to go out on a date with him later on that night. But did anybody else think that she was looking like, what have I done? But anyway, so then we move on to Ainsley. So Duffy's coming down the stairs, leaving Maya's bedroom, and Ainsley is like blocking his way. She's messing with him, but she lets him leave, and then she goes up to Maya, and she's happy for Maya because she says, Duffy has loved you forever. He's a great guy, so this is good for you. Like you've dated jerks before, and Maya's just like she always looked at Duffy. She thought about it, thought about what it could be because he's a great guy and she knows he's really sweet. But to me, it sounds like she always looked at him as like a dork because he was into, I think she said Star Wars and all that. But that's how it came off. But anyways, Maya says like the loving and everything was really great, and Ainsley's like, okay, see, you could, this could work. This could be the relationship that you're supposed to be in. But I don't think Maya's really feeling it. But anyways, so that's that. So we see Cash tells Craig Zara's a TV star. So the public loves Zara. They love I guess her personality and everything, which y'all know on the show she's one of my favorite people because I love the way she plays this character on here. But she's one of my favorite people on the show. So I'm glad that they did not write her out of the show. But anyways, she's one of my favorite characters on here. But so he tells Cash tells Craig that, everyone's loving her. And of course, Craig, he's upset. He's sad because that's his girl or ex-girl. And he messed up and he realizes he messed up and there's nothing he can do about it because it looks as though she's moving on. Uh, so he says that he's been watching it with Fatima and everything's going well in that relationship. They haven't really went on dates or anything without a chaperone. They're doing it very traditional. They have agreed to do it the traditional way without touching and doing all of that. So that's what they're going to work on going forward. Um, then we go to Gemma, who is still getting to know Giles. So she's still getting to know her son because he's been to boarding school and everything. So, but anyways, Ainsley is speaking to her. She's visiting with her and she's just checking on her. She's been a good friend to her. Um, and Gemma's just like, as long as she knows Giles is okay, she will be okay. So as long as he's okay, she can make it through. So then we see Maya and Duffy. They go on their date, and Maya agrees that she wants to be in this relationship. So they're going to be exclusive now. So then we see Zara's dating show airs, and everybody is watching it. Like everyone is around their couches and having little watch parties and everyone is watching this show. One, because they know Craig, and another reason is because it's entertaining, I guess. I don't really like these type of shows because I don't like seeing people fight over one. I don't know. It's just something about it I don't like. But so she is getting close to. Okay, so Zara is getting close to this guy named Duncan or whatever. And then she's like, oh, you smell so good. And then this guy comes up and he tells Duncan, you stole my cologne. No wonder you're smelling good. You stole my cologne. And then Duncan said, don't you understand why I stole it? I want to be close to you. So it turns out these two are going to end up being together. So they found their little love match on here. So Zara is out for the count with that one. And Then we see that, she kisses one of the guys. Oh, she kisses one of the guys. His name is Garrett. So later on, we see that she's having like another moment, and she kisses one of the guys, and his name is Garrett. So then we see Tony too, and Gemma, Ainsley Gemma comes to visit Tony too and Ainsley at Ainsley's job, and we see that Ainsley's having to like have 30% off at her store because her parents did pay for her rent, so now she's having to pay for her rent, and so that money that she was making is not making where she could just spend, you know, without having to worry about overhead. She's now having to worry about overhead. So she's needing to sell things now. Whereas at first, this was just a cute little job for her to have, I guess. Um, so we see that, and we see that Ainsley again asks her how everything is going. It's Giles' first day of school. She said it went really well. She was the emotional wreck, not him or whatever. Well, he was, I guess, a little sad, but she was the one who was really the emotional wreck on that. So then we see Zara's show again, and Craig. Okay, so they're going through the show, and she's talking to Garrett, one of the guys, and she scratches her head, and Craig is like, "Oh my gosh, she scratched her head. That's a signal." She's giving him a signal. So he calls Duffy, and he lets him know, and Duffy's like, "Well, I don't know if that's a signal or not, but if it is, and we see her do it next week, or we see her keep doing that, then we'll know. We'll know, and then we can." Figure something out from there. So then we see Duffy and Maya. She spends the night at his place, and he just tells her, um, you know, she's like, at this stage of a relationship, usually I'm brushing my teeth, but because it's you and I'm comfortable, she doesn't have to do that. But he went and done that. He went and did that and everything. So she's further along as far as the comfort of the relationship than he is. But anyways, he's going to get breakfast, and then he tells her he just doesn't want to mess this up because he really likes her, and he's liked her for a while now. So he tells her he does not want to mess this up with her, and as he leaves, you could see, this is what I don't like about this show. They're creating these relationships where the friendship will become very toxic in the end. Like if they keep mingling in the inner circle, the friendship's gonna start becoming toxic. You know what I mean? Y'all get what I'm trying to say. It's like how you can't continue to do that because one person might like someone, like really like them, and they get their feelings hurt. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, y'all, let's move along. Um, so then they have this party, and and Cash is there, Craig is there. Oh wait, so then they're having this. Okay, before we get to that, Ainsley is doing her whole 30% off, putting up the things. And then this woman comes in and she's just like, help me. My husband is leaving me and he wants a divorce. I'm getting a 6-bedroom home, townhouse, and I need to fill it up. And so Ainsley starts removing that 30% off because she doesn't want to put anything on sale if the woman's going to give it, buy it. And so she starts removing that 30% off, and she takes she goes and she helps the woman, fill the apartment full, and she ends up spending, I think the woman spent £300,000 on furniture and refurnishing the apartment and everything. And she wants Ainsley to hurry up and do it before the credit card, excuse me, before the joint account closes. So then we see that Craig invites Cash to the party, and Cash hears Maya will be there, and so of course he's all for that. So Craig tells Maya okay, so then we see Craig and Maya talking, and okay, so they're at this party because Craig is having this this Zara's TV show. They're having this party with that. So Craig, Duffy, and Maya are already there. Duffy is in the back, I guess, getting a snack. He's doing something, but Craig is just like, I'm so happy you guys are together. And he tells her that as long as you have that spark, you look at him and he's the only one for you. You just can't see yourself not being with him. You would just miss them if something happened. Maya does not have that spark for Duffy. And it was very subtle, But you could see that throughout the complete episode that she does not have that spark for him. I don't know why she did this. I don't know what will come of this, because I don't know. I don't understand why she did this. So then we see that two girls, okay, so two girls come in and they're being mean because they go to the show. They come in and they're being mean to Zara, and she scratches her head again. And Craig is like, that's it. That's her signal. She's saying, Craig, come get me. Because that was the signal that they had whenever they would go to parties. She would scratch her head, and that would mean, Craig, come get me. I'm annoyed by this person, or this person is boring to me, or whatever. And so he would come and get her. And so when he's telling them that, and they were like, well, she might be doing it, but maybe she's just scratching her head. And he's just adamant that no, she is doing that because that is our signal, and she wants me to come and rescue from this show. But then she starts to make out with Garrett, and they're like, I don't know. It seems like she's feeling Garrett or whatever. So it's an awkward situation. So then we see Duffy tells. Okay, so then Duffy and, Bashir and Cash come in. And so when they come in, because you remember when Craig invited Cash to the party, he knew Maya was going to be there, but Craig didn't tell, because Craig doesn't know about this whole history between Cash and Maya. So he didn't tell him that, hey, the Duffy and Maya are together now, because he's not in the circle like that. So when he gets there, he brings Bashir, and they're all sitting around, and oh gosh, Duffy is just being Duffy. Like he's goofy, and he's a nerd and dorky and everything. And Maya's kind of a little bit, I guess, embarrassed about it. And so when they're sitting there, he lets them know that that's his girlfriend, that Maya's his girlfriend and everything, because they're introducing Bashir to them. And he's like, that's your girl, Bashir. Like, that's your. I love Bashir on this show. Like, they need other people like Zara and all them to break up what's going on with everyone else, because Bashir is like pure comedy in this show, to give you a quick laugh or whatever. So anyways, so Cash is taken aback a little bit, finding out that Maya is dating Duffy. So anyways, later on, Maya is making a drink, and Cash comes in, and Cash tells her about his, he's still living at home because his dad, and so she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And then Duffy comes in and asks for a drink, where's my margarita? So she gives him his drink, and he's just he's just being Duffy. Excuse me. And she's embarrassed about it, but you knew how Duffy was, like, so that's why I think she should not have done this, because it's like the true Duffy she does not want. Do you understand what I'm saying? She doesn't want to be embarrassed and the goofiness and all that. She wants a guy like Cash. So that's why I think she shouldn't have done this with Duffy. But we digress. So Zara says, so they asked her about her relationship on the show. And Garrett does. And Zara says, Craig had so many secrets, it felt like she was dating a stranger. So now she wants to date a stranger. She might as well have dated a stranger. So now she's dating strangers. And so at this point, Cash is there, Maya, Duffy, Craig, and Bashir's there. At this point, Ainsley comes in because she's super excited. Now, one of the reasons that Cash agreed to come is because Ainsley was not supposed to be there. Ainsley comes in, and she's like, what is he doing here? And Cash is like, I'll get up and leave. And Craig is like, no, you don't have to leave. And Ainsley's a little hurt by that, because she's like, what do you mean he doesn't have to leave? Like, I'm your friend. We've been friends way longer than you've been friends with him. And Craig just tells her, I'm sorry, but that's my friend, and what he did to you was messed up, but people do messed up stuff all the time on Facebook and stuff, and I don't know, his excuse didn't make sense. And then he said, well, and now my girlfriend is making out with other dudes and everything. And I understand what Craig was saying. It was just like the wrong time to do it. Like, if you wanted to still be friends with Cash, all you had to do was tell Ainsley why from the very beginning, instead of trying to hide it and pretending like that you two were not friends, that you had kicked him out of your office. Remember, he did that in those other episodes. So that's why she's upset, because you lied to her about what was really going on. And she feels like he's chosen Cash's side over hers, and she's known him since, college, I believe college and everything. So anyway, she leaves, and Maya goes with her, and then Duffy goes with them and everything. Um, so then we see that Giles wants to go to. Oh, so then the next day, Ainsley is at work, and a man comes in. The woman, remember, the woman was getting divorced. Well, her soon-to-be ex-husband comes in, and he asks Ainsley not to cash the check, and she goes off on him because she feels like, because the woman has told her the man is just doing her wrong. And then he tells her, but I bet she didn't tell you that she slept with my brother. And she was like, no, she did not tell me that. So he was explaining why he was getting this divorce from her, and why he destroyed her shoes and all of that kind of, all of that. And he just asked Ainsley to please not cash that check. And so now she's in a predicament because, she's gone through what she went through with Cash. So she has sympathy and empathy for what, what the gentleman is going through. So then from there, we see that Giles wants to go to a sleepover, so he asks Gemma about it, and Duffy talks to her, and she agrees to let him go. And I think this whole episode with her, it was just about her holding on to Giles, as far as, I'm going to make sure he's okay. If he's okay, then I'll be okay. That's her way of taking care of herself too, or using that as an excuse and everything, because I don't think she's okay. So that, it was just her wrapping her life around him, but her son wants to still be a little boy. You know what I mean? Even though his father passed, he still wants to be a little boy and go to sleepovers and have fun with friends and do all of that. So then we see, so the show is on and everybody has their little watch parties. Everybody's meeting up with their little watch parties and everything. And they're like, where's Craig? Where's Craig? And so they're watching the show. And they tell Ainsley, like, you have a choice between Garrett and this other guy that's come on. And they said, but it's about to get more complicated. And then we see Craig there. And he's trying to win her back. And he spills all of his secrets to her. And because he's trying to win her back. And then he gets down on bended knee. And he asks her to marry him. When she tells him no. That she doesn't want to marry him. So, of course, he's depressed. So the next few days later, 8 days later or something, we hear Duffy knocking on Craig's door. He's trying to get Craig to come out. Craig finally agrees to come out because he's ordered like this gluten-free, cheese-free pizza. So he comes out and he's just sad. And so Duffy says, okay, we're going to do a guy's night. We're going to do a night out for you. We're going to go to the club. And Craig was like, okay, because it's been a while. So he agrees to go. So then Cash and Bashir are visiting Fatima. And Cash and Fatima are speaking in the kitchen and everything. And he gets her cannoli because she's never had a cannoli or anything. She doesn't like it. But anyways, then he gets a text from Craig asking him, would you like to go to this part? The guy's not the guy's night out, but would you like to go on a night out of town with me? So, and bring your girl. So Cash is just like, he's in that because he likes her. So he was like, okay, you want to go? And she was like, well, we agreed to keep this, traditional with chaperones and all that. That's what we agreed upon. So she won't go with him. But she tells him you and Bashir should go, and you guys have fun or whatever. So you could see that she will be the more of the traditional wife for him. So I don't know how that's gonna work because he wanted to go, and even though she wanted to go, she didn't go because she wants to keep the chaperones together with them and all of that. All of that. So I don't know. So then Gemma is home alone. She's eating dinner and she's just home alone and she's sad. And Duffy texts her and tells her to come, because, her son goes to the school where Duffy teaches, So he texts her and tells her to come because he knows Giles is out. at the sleepover. So they all arrive. And Duffy embarrasses Maya again. He's just a little bit embarrassed because he's like, do we have to pay on these drinks? And they're like, no, we'll put it on a corporate card. He was like, because if there's an ATM that matches my bank, I could go and get in and pay. And they're like, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And Maya's just, she's just embarrassed. Um, so then they start dancing and Bashir okay, so then Gemma comes and Maya's like, what are you doing here? And she was like, I'm an important part of this group too, not just Ainsley's friend. Because, Duffy invited her. I don't know, y'all. I don't like Maya. I don't. Like, every episode I try and then I'm just like, ugh. But, she tells her, like, I'm an important part of this group as well. Like, it's not all about me just being Ainsley's friend. Anyways, at first she was stiff, then they start drinking and stuff, and she starts to loosen up, and they all start, having fun. They're dancing and talking, and, they're just having a great time. So Bashir, they're all sitting in this semicircle, right? And Bashir starts telling this story about Nani and Fatima. And Gemma asks, who is that? And he says, and before Bashir can say that, and it's, Cash's, soon to be girl, or before Craig can even say it, Cash says, oh, it's a friend from Mosque. So Bashir looks at him like, what? But he's like, okay, I'm not gonna say anything or whatever. So he keeps quiet, and he's not gonna say anything to him about that. But yeah, so that's that part. And I'm like, see, this is why I don't like that. If the two of you like each other, say something, because all you're doing right now is hurting other people. Because in all these episodes, y'all keep having these little run-ins where you want to say something to each other, you want to try to, you have feelings and you have this connection and you have that spark and everything, but you're denying it. Because, and I get why they're denying it, but you're hurting other people as you're going around doing this. But anyways, so then the ladies are dancing. So Gemma and Maya are out on the dance floor. They're having a good time just dancing with each other. The guys are off. These two girls are showing him love because, they're like, oh my gosh, what you did on that show, putting your emotions out there. I would not have turned you down and whatever. Cash and Bashir, enjoying themselves. Duffy is going to get drinks. And as he's doing that, so the ladies are dancing on their own, and these two guys approach them, and they're like, hey, we see you dancing. And Maya says, my boyfriend's about to come back with our drinks. And he was like, yeah, right, boyfriend. And then they start walking away, and he grabs onto Maya, and she turns and she jerks away from him. And then Duffy approaches, and he's like, what's going on? And I was like, this is your dude? Or whatever. And they said, what's he gonna do? And he was like, well, first I'm gonna because they push or shove Duffy in, and he's like, that could be taken to court or something about, I don't know what Duffy is talking about, but I guess he would put them as a assault or something. And so they were like, what you gonna do about it? He's like, I'm gonna put these drinks down. And then I don't know why Cash came through, but he needed to, because Duffy wasn't about to do nothing. Cash comes through with Bashir, and they start talking crap to the guys, and they're walking away. And as they walk away, the guys call them terrorists, and Cash swings on them, and then they have this whole brawl. And so Craig is getting into it, even though y'all see Craig wasn't doing nothing. Craig is getting into it. Bashir and Cash are all into this fight, but Duffy he's not in it. He's standing back, and he has his arm in front of Maya, and he's just watching it all go down. So then we see they're outside now, because they've clearly gotten kicked out of this club. So they're outside now, and Duffy is like, Gemma asked him, is he okay? And he said, yeah, I don't know why the bouncer pushed me that hard or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know either, because you were not doing anything. Like, all I had to do was tell you, sir, please leave, and you would have left. But there's nothing wrong with him not wanting to fight. It's just, once again, that's not what Maya wants or whatever. She wants somebody that'll be able to stand up for her in situations like that could protect her. Even though I feel like if he called you that, if he's a jerk, just walk away. You don't have to, don't escalate it like they did. But anyways, so they're talking, and then we see Maya walking up, and she has ice and everything, and she's taking care of Cash. She's taking care of Cash. And then Bashir rolls up and he's like, get in, because they're taking Cash to the hospital. Maya hops right on in and they speed off. Bashir, Cash, and Maya. And Duffy was like, I'm right here. I cannot. Duffy was like, I'm right here. Like, I did not get in. Y'all left me. And so Gemma is outside and her cab comes up and she was like, you want to share a cab? And so they're riding home in the cab. I'm just gonna wrap them up. They're riding home in the cab, and Gemma just tells Duffy, "Thank you for inviting me because she needed that. She was just at home by herself. You know, she was missing Quentin, Giles. You know, she wants him to be free and have fun, so she doesn't want to put the burden on her pain on him." And so she needed to get out tonight, and she appreciates Duffy for inviting her and everything. And then she tells him, because she's talking to him, but his mind is on they left him, and she tells him, "You could do better than Maya, and he can. Like, he should stay with Tabby because she wouldn't have did you like that." But she tells him, "You could do better than Maya," and he just looks at her, and so I don't know what's gonna happen with that right there. I don't know if they're gonna put Gemma and Duffy together or not, but I wish they had done that before they put Maya and Duffy together. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so then we see that Craig has met one of the girls that he was talking to earlier, and she's wanting him to go home with her. And he's thinking about it, but just as he was thinking about maybe he would do it, the cab pulls up and Zara's picture's on there, and he doesn't want to do it. He sends the girl into the cab, and he goes off, and the cab goes off. So then we see that Cash and Maya are at the hospital, and he just tells her that he misses her. Like, he thinks about, not miss her, but he thinks about that first time that they met, and how, but before he could finish his statement, Bashir comes through, and he interrupts the moment once again. They're always having these moments, but they always get interrupted. But so he interrupts the moment once again, and they're just sitting there, and he's just talking away, but there's tension between those two because they like each other. So then we see the guy who, the man who comes back to Ainsley's shop, and Ainsley she didn't come to the outing for Craig, even though she feels bad about what happened to him. She's still upset with him, so that's why she wasn't there. But the guy comes back to Ainsley's shop, and he tells her he has a 2-bedroom penthouse, I believe he said, penthouse, townhouse, one of them. And he tells her that if she could decorate it for him, and he says it'll be very high and everything. So I don't know if this is going to be a love interest for her or not, but it should be cute. So then we see Craig is watching Zara on TV, and Garrett is proposing to Zara, and Craig is just like, oh my gosh. And then he gets a knock on the door right when we're waiting on her, what's her answer going to be. And he's thinking it's Duffy, so he pauses the TV and he runs to the door, and it's Zara. And she comes in and she tells him, hi Craig, or whatever. And he was like, Zara. And then she scratches her head. So she was telling him to come get her and everything. I don't know why she turned him down. Probably because she was making him suffer, But so she was telling him to come get her and rescue her from that show. Anyways, this was a better episode, y'all. Each week, I know I'm behind, but each week it does get better. So I think someone was in my comments and they told me that. So I'm glad I saw that, because I started watching it again, and it does get better every single week. I think, is next week their last episode? I think it might be. So I should be caught up for that, and then I'll be done with this whole series, because I didn't want to start another show and not finish it. But overall thoughts on this: they need to stop hooking everyone up, because this is just a mess. This is just going to be a mess. Like, the same way I think y'all are trying to do this love interest with Ainsley and a completely different guy. Like, do that. Don't have them connecting in the group. Like, 'cause that's just nasty. But anyways, Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm gonna put this up. Go ahead and put this up. It's taking me like I wanted to put them all out at 7 in the morning. I told y'all that on that video, but I have to wait for YouTube to actually approve the video, and it's taking them hours to do that. So as soon as they have it approved, I'll put it up, and then I'll just keep dropping them every single day until I'm all caught up. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.